What's up, guys? Welcome back
Yeah.
to another episode.
I mean, hey, March Madness is in full effect, dude.
Yeah.
I would say right now we are, we'll get into it. Obviously, we made some bad picks, but if I saw correctly, there were no perfect brackets after the first weekend.
Yeah. There
So
were honestly, I was kind of up in shock with the whole bracket system. Compared to my bracket,
I,
wow.
I don't
Wow.
even remember who I all picked. I
See,
just remember that my national champion is not there anymore.
yeah, I just remember Virginia went, "Oh, hey, we're gonna take
Oh
this
Lord.
L at the last second, literally the last second." And I just went, well, there go my chances. And just kind
Yeah.
of was
And,
like, I
so
now I'm just like watching games that like are actually interesting and not just like trying to binge the whole thing. But
yeah,
now we're
and
getting
we'll
into the good stuff because we're into
this
the
is the good games.
yeah,
We got
we're
the
getting
Sweet
into the
16,
yes.
Elite Eight. I mean, it's gonna be fast. I always forget every time the tournament comes around. I always forget how fast it goes by.
Yeah. It's
Because
literally
like
like,
I was sitting
oh
there and I was
hey,
like,
how's
this
the
is
tournament going? And you're
amazing.
like, oh my god, wait, they're playing for the championship. What happened?
Like,
And
like
it's
for
like,
real though,
holy
because like
crap.
you get caught up with how many games go on those first 2 days. And then after the first weekend, you look at it and you're like, man, we got the Sweet 16 and then the Elite Eight and then his Final Four national champion. It's over. Like before
Yeah.
you know it, boom, gone. But I think both tournaments. We'll start with the women's, and then we'll get into the men's. But I was able to watch games from both tournaments. I pretty much just watched Ohio State for women's. I'm not gonna, get on here and lie that I watched all the games. No, I watched the Ohio State women's because I care about them. And then I kept up with some of the games. So we'll react to both the women's and then we'll get into the men's, which is predominantly what people watch when we talk about March Madness. But the women's, I would say, if you didn't watch any of the women's, here's your headlines, right? Here's your key points. Indiana and Stanford, 2 1 seeds out.
Yeah.
So Indiana got upset by
And
Miami.
there went my bracket.
Yeah. And then Stanford got upset
Killing me,
by Ole
Smalls.
Miss. So you know what? I remember I was high on Indiana. I'm pretty sure I
Yeah.
was I was high on Indiana because they smoked Ohio State and Miami. I don't know what happened. I saw the replay of the last like 10 seconds of the game. I tell you what, Miami's playing good right now. You better watch out, Villanova. I would not be surprised if Miami sneaks into the Elite Eight. But they got LSU, Utah. Not a lot of other big upsets. I would say Florida Gulf Coast. You were making fun of me for that one. I got that one
Yeah.
right. Hey,
I will say,
uh,
got me there. Got me there.
I told you I
Was
just like Florida Gulf Coast.
I was
Like
not expecting honestly, I wasn't
no,
expecting as many upsets as there were. I felt like
no. I
this
mean
year there were
even
a lot more upsets than previous years. I feel like
especially in the
I
women's,
don't know if
right?
it's the
Typically,
like
it's
score or like what placement teams are given, and that's kind of
I don't
messing
know.
with it, or like we're getting a more level playing field, and it's like,
Hmm.
hey, all because they're 15 seat does not mean we can like come in and be like, well, hey guys, it's my first time playing basketball. This is
Yeah, I
how you
mean
shoot. It's like,
it's
no,
interesting because you
no,
bring up like we've talked about before that like the women's tournament is predominantly no upsets, right? Like, yeah, there are
yeah,
upsets, but it's pretty easier cut and dry. So,
it's pretty like two or three typically within the
yeah.
year.
And so what's interesting is I'm looking at this, and a lot of it is, we expect South Carolina to be there, UCLA, Notre Dame, Maryland, um, you got UConn that is playing Ohio State in the Sweet 16. So I'm definitely going to tune into that game. And then Iowa and Virginia Tech. So like a bunch of teams that we expect to be there. Oh, and Tennessee. I mean, how could I forget Tennessee? Pat
Yeah,
Summitt laid the foundation, fantastic coach.
go
So a lot
Vols.
of teams that we expected to be there, but looking at this, Toledo upset Iowa State. That was a 12 over
Mm-hmm.
15. That rarely happens in women's. And then you
Okay.
got Georgia over Florida State, so a 10 over 7. Colorado over Duke in the second round, so that's a 6 over 3. Um, so we got some upsets here and there. Obviously, we already mentioned Stanford and Indiana going down. Those are big because those are ones. But then also in the first round, Mississippi State over Creighton. That's an 11 over 6, and they almost won by 20. They won by 15. I mean, that's what blows me away. Some of these upsets are like
are like
beatdowns.
blowouts.
Yeah.
Like we'll get into it, but like a couple in the men's division, I was like,
Oh my
wow,
God.
holy
Yeah.
crap. What just
Because I
happened
mean,
here? What did I
you
just
know,
watch?
yeah, and I mentioned Florida Gulf Coast. They're a 12 over a 5 in their first round. They lost in the second round to Villanova, but their win in the first round was by 11. I mean that's a double digit
That's
game. That's a
yeah,
double digit upset. So it's interesting to see. I've said this multiple times to multiple people about multiple sports. I think we're finally seeing not only what NIL is, but the one time free transfer as well as the grad transfer free transfer. I think we're seeing what the transfer portal and the NIL deals are doing for every sport.
yeah,
And part of me is for it because hey, it makes for more entertaining postseason.
yeah. I definitely think I at first was very against the NIL kind of. I
Hmm.
just because it's like, why are we turning like these college kids into professional athletes
Professional, yeah,
essentially? They're getting paid pretty much close. Some of them are getting paid like
yeah, like a
crazy
million
amounts.
dollars.
Some of them are getting,
Well, and those are the
kind of
football
scraps,
players.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Your big sports are going to get a lot more of the funding for the NIL
because they bring
agreements,
in more of the
bring
money.
in
I
more
mean,
money, makes sense.
yeah,
But oh my God, dude, it's
yeah,
kind of
it's
nice.
better
It's
games.
kind of
It's better
nice.
games.
Like everything's a
Um,
little more competitive. Like one person can be like, "Hey, look, like I don't think we'll see any more teams where there's like good second string or like full on like the first string and second string can swap out and you would not be able to tell a difference. I think we're going
yeah,
to see a lot more of, hey, our first string is what we got, or like basketball's a little different.
yeah,
you
because
have
you
your
only got
main
15.
five, and then it's like, okay,
You got your main
15
three off the
players.
bench, really,
Yeah,
and like
you
everybody else
know,
is developing.
and
No,
then
I agree. I think that's a good point because what we're even seeing with football, we've talked about it, is we're so used to Ohio State and Alabama having where we could go, our third string guys could start for you. And now it is slowly going to our backups are better than your backups, but it's not the whole our third string could be your starter anymore. And I
yeah,
think transfer and NIL is a big, not problem, a big reason for that. Um, but looking at this tournament, I highly recommend if you want to see good basketball, women's basketball is still it's very skill based, and it's fun, entertaining games, much more fast paced is what
yeah,
I've noticed. But if you had to pick right now, after we see the first week, all right, your final four for the women's basketball tournament, who you got?
buddy, no. Okay, based on my picks right now, can I give a final four, like four? Can I give four?
Yeah, just
No.
your final
All
four
right.
right now. Who
So
you
I'm
got?
I'm gonna say I got Ohio State
Let's
coming
go,
out.
OH
Um,
baby. We gotta get through UConn.
hometown team. I think they can take on UConn, but it's UConn, so it's like can't really show up
It's
and
scary. It's
not be
UConn.
ready
It's
to go.
scary.
Like,
Yeah, it's
okay, I don't
scary,
know
man.
if it's just like because there's like such a recent legacy team that it's like when you go to play them, I feel like it's a little nerve wracking because you're like, dude, holy crap,
Yeah,
we're playing like
you're playing
the
UConn, man.
dynasty. But then
Well,
I feel like that
here's what I'll
also lights a
tell you.
little fire and says, hey,
Yeah, no. Here's what
we're
I'll
about
tell
to
you.
kick some ass.
They beat UConn last year in the regular
Yeah.
season. I know that, and they beat Tennessee in the season this year.
Yeah.
And
I
Tennessee is a possible team. If they beat UConn, they might play Tennessee. It's
I'm
Tennessee or
liking
Virginia
the
Tech.
odds for Ohio State coming out. I don't think they will win it all though. Um,
Have faith.
but I think they can make it to the championship game.
Okay. Okay. So you got Ohio State coming out of that region. All right. Who you got from the Seattle 4 region, Stanford's region?
Well, you
Ole
see,
Miss, Louisville, Colorado, or Iowa?
um, this one I'm kind of tossing one in the wind for. Hopefully, I hit. um, I'm gonna say Louisville just because I feel like Louisville has like
The
pretty good
Cards?
basketball. Yeah, across I think they have pretty good basketball.
I wonder if their
Um,
women's team gets men's strippers. Too
ooh,
soon? Too soon, Patino?
interesting, interesting.
Speaking of
Ooh,
Patino, he is I don't know if you saw it, he's at St.
mm-mm.
John's now. Rick
Wait,
Pitino hired as St. John's head coach. The Louisville coach that got him in trouble for buying strippers for recruits. He is now
I don't
St.
think I
John's
heard
head
about that.
coach. Oh my
Okay,
God.
nice, nice.
All right. So
It's
you
hey,
got
anything for the church.
all right. So Ohio State and Louisville from the Seattles. Okay, who you got? Greenville 2, Miami, Villanova, LSU, or Utah. Speaking of the church, Utah Mormons.
See, you see, I'm gonna go Villanova.
Okay.
I feel like Villanova is, you know, hopefully
Uh,
they're good. I really haven't seen, you know, let's
why
get
not?
it.
Why not? Why not? All right.
um, and then I think out of Greenville one, I think it's a little predictable. Let's go Cox.
You're
Let's
really
get
hoping they're good at football next year, aren't you? Just so you can say that
yeah,
whenever you
buddy.
want.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. So you got South Carolina, Nova, Ohio State, and Louisville. All right. Okay,
See,
I can
I
see the
think
thought
it's gonna
process
come
there.
down to Ohio State
Bucks
and
versus Cox.
Gamecocks, or it's gonna be Villanova Gamecocks.
Okay. Lock it in, right?
Yep, that's my lock in right now.
All right. Let's see. I'll piggyback South Carolina. I think
Okay.
they're a no-brainer. I would say I expect them out of that region. I will say though, UCLA is going to be a
You
tough
should,
game, and then whoever wins between Notre Dame and Maryland is going to give South Carolina a fight. All right,
yeah.
um, that's going to be tough. But I see South Carolina coming out. I mean, they've been number one all year, so I expect them to continue. Um, the Greenville too. I mean, I really had a lot of faith in Indiana. So for them to stumble and fall against Miami, A, it was hilarious. B, it kind of screws me over.
Are
So
you going Utah?
I
Are you going
I
Utah?
am gonna go Utah for this
Oh
reason
no!
only. I'm gonna
Okay.
go
What?
Utah
What?
because they scored 103 points in the first round.
Oh my.
They broke
Yeah.
100. I'm going Utah. That's
Yeah.
impressive. They
Okay.
got me. They got my ticket. All right. So go Utes, right?
Okay.
Um, from Seattle 4. I'm gonna go with Iowa. I've watched enough Iowa women's basketball to know they're legit, and I want to see Iowa South Carolina. I want to see that matchup in the Final Four. And then Seattle 3, I'm going Ohio State because why not? All day, baby. Right? I gotta back those
Go Bucks.
Buckeyes.
Go Bucks.
Um, but again, like when you look at this region, Virginia Tech, Tennessee, that's going to be a great game. Ohio State,
Hmm.
UConn is going to be a great game, and that Elite Eight is going to be a great game. So I'm not obviously I'm rooting for Ohio State, but I could see any of those teams advancing. But right now I'm going to lock in Ohio State, and I'm going to go Ohio State in the Natty, and they are going to face Caitlin Clark and those damn Hawkeyes. The Hawkeyes are going to upset South Carolina, and Ohio
What?
State is going to
What?
get revenge from the Hawkeyes. So lock it in.
Unheard of.
Bucks your champs.
Unheard of.
Let's go.
Unheard of.
I know it's crazy, right? I back Ohio State blindly.
Uh,
It's crazy. Everyone should know this at this
honestly,
point. But
but
I do.
honestly, anything could happen at this point. So
I didn't like. There's gonna be a
yeah,
great game, so I'm excited to see. Obviously, I'll be tuning in for those Buckeyes. Hopefully the Lady Bucks get it done, beat Geno, send them packing back up to the Yukon, and we can get this ball rolling. So, women's gonna be good, but also the men's
men's.
tournament is
Oh my
heating
god,
up, man,
dude.
heating up.
Okay, so I initial reaction
Where do you want to
after.
start? Yeah, like where do you want to
Yeah,
start?
so after day one, what was your feeling? Just kind
After
of going
day
through the
one, I threw my
scores, you
phone.
know? Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
here's the thing. Here's how day one went, right? I tried to pull it up in my classroom
Hmm.
and everything was blocked. So, that's a big FU to my district right now. Not really. Okay, so if you see this, don't be like I appreciate what you guys do for me, but come on, unblock the streaming. Let's go. I want to be able to see that. They were
I
doing
just want to watch the
individual work.
game,
I
you
just wanted to
know?
have it on the
Just
screen.
just like
Okay.
just like right
They
right
had a
here,
project to
like
work on anyway.
right in the bottom corner.
But we get out to buses during dismissal, right? And our gym teacher, one of our gym teachers, he has it on his phone. And I was like, "Oh, what game you watching?" And I just asked him. And, he's telling me, and he goes, "Oh, did you see that Virginia lost?"
Oh my
So that's how it started for me.
god.
Because I said, "Well, there goes my upset, right?" Because I had Virginia upsetting Bama. So I was like, "Well, all right." And then I get later in the night, Arizona loses. And I was like, "Well,
Dude,
there goes the Final
no.
Four." And then the next day, Purdue loses. And I was like, "Oh, there
Yup.
goes another Final Four." I think all I have left is Xavier and UCLA.
Yeah.
Like,
I know I saw UCLA and I think that's it.
I I will say that like yeah, you're upset, but like I've stopped taking
Yeah.
making a bracket seriously
Yeah.
last couple of years. I just
Honestly,
do it for fun.
I
I
kind
mean,
of
I put $5 into a pot and we just have fun. So like
yeah.
it's never serious anymore. I just enjoy seeing all the upsets at this point. Um I didn't think Purdue was going to be the one seed to get upset. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I honestly was
Maybe I
thinking
should have.
that Purdue. Okay, so here's my take. So
Okay.
last we talked, I had the topic of debate of do you think the Big Ten is good?
Overrated. I love the Big
Overrated.
Ten, but they're
So
overrated so
overrated.
much.
Okay.
So much.
Okay.
No, I would
So
agree with you there. I mean, now what will be interesting is when USC and UCLA join, do they
yeah,
like
I
boost them up a little bit?
I, I
No,
hope.
it's so
I hope.
frustrating. It's just so frustrating. I think UCLA will help a lot.
Yeah.
But it's so frustrating because it is, we sit here and we talk about, as Big Ten fans, we do have pride for our conference, just like every other conference has pride for, I have ACC friends that advocate for the ACC, and of course I tell them, no, you're stupid, shut up.
Yeah.
Um, but we sit here and we're like, the Big Ten is a big boys league. And I think it is. I think it produces them and the SEC produce a lot of next level players. But the issue is because I heard somebody say this and I started thinking about this and I was like, you know what? It's right. And I wish I remember who it was. Um, but I just can't because I would like to give them credit. And they pointed out the Big Ten is a big boys league. There's no question about that. But they all play the same way.
Yeah.
So when they go up against teams that don't play like them, they struggle.
I can
And I
see
was like,
it.
you know
I
what?
can see
I
it.
was like, yeah, that makes sense because when you tune into a Michigan Purdue or an Ohio State Michigan State game, it's a good game. You're locked in. But it's because they play so similarly. So then
Yeah.
when they go up against teams that are even up threes left and right and are banking on transition points, and you're not as fast as them, it's tough because you can't just change your style of play. You've played like it for what, 30 games now? You can't just go and change it.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, that I honestly haven't thought about how they play so similar to one another and how that gets so in the way of like, hey, now we're
Tournament
playing an
success.
SEC or hey, we're playing an ACC, Pac-12.
Hmm.
And even within those divisions, I feel like they don't really all play the same style where I feel like Big Ten is more very old school
It
style
is. We
basketball.
pride
Like,
ourselves on that, right? It's the same
yeah,
thing with football. We pride ourselves on old school bully football. And I think that in football still works.
yeah,
It still works to play old school smash mouth. But in basketball, it is changing. It's evolving. And I like that you point out that, like, even within other conferences, they don't play the same. because Kansas State doesn't play the same as Kansas.
Mm-mm.
And so when they play each other, it's a good game because it's a game of runs. Basketball always is a game of runs. You're like, you're 5 minutes. What are you going to do in the first 5 minutes of the game? What are you going to do in the first 5 minutes after halftime? And when you watch a Kansas State and Kansas, they're trying to force each other to play their game.
Yeah.
So it is this back and forth, back and forth. While when you do watch a Big Ten game, it is very much who can be better at the system. And I
Yeah.
think that's why Ohio State shocked people the last couple of seasons. Obviously, we talked about this season. It is deemed it's viewed as a failure. I like how they ended the season with the fight in the Big Ten tournament. Um, but I think that's why Ohio State and Holtman had success the last 3 years is because he brought that defense focus, fast break team to the Big Ten.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just
I'm
interesting
interested
once
to
you think
see what
about it.
happens, with especially the next couple of years and with the NIL just kind of getting started up.
Hmm.
And players being able to transfer kind of wherever they want. Um,
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what happens with the Big Ten if their play style changes up or if they decide, hey, like, no, we're still gonna play the same. And I wonder if, bringing too many play styles into one system is gonna have it. There's so many things I'm
I
thinking
I
about
think I
that
think the
might.
Bruins and Trojans are going to force the Big Ten to evolve.
I
I
think
think
so
that's
too.
what's going
I
to
think
happen.
that'll be good for them.
I think it's going
I
to
still think it's
highlight
whack
what,
a little bit, but
yeah,
like, hey, I'll take
uh,
what it is.
yeah. I think it will encourage because Ohio State was like showing the whole like we're going to be fast paced and defense focused rather than slow it down, go in the paint. And part of it was because we never had a 7-4 guy.
Yeah,
Um, but I think UCLA and USC joining will promote the Ohio State play style and promote the Rutgers play style, and will also allow Michigan State to get back to the transition style that Izzo was so effective with. Because everyone talking about, oh, Michigan State, they're so fast. They're so
yeah,
fast. They always change on like so. It will be interesting because I think we will start to see two play styles again. Because I think what happened was Michigan, Purdue, and Illinois found success with the big guys, and because it's a copycat league, they were like, "Oh, let's all try to do that." When that
yeah,
doesn't always work. So,
yeah,
it'll be interesting. But yeah, I think I agree with you completely. The Big Ten's overrated, and we see that because what? Michigan State's the only team to make it out of the first round.
yeah.
Of course, Izzo. Of
Wow.
course, Izzo.
Honestly, I think Izzo, like, as a
Genius.
basketball,
Genius.
oh my god, a legend.
Genius.
Like, I feel like if you don't know, I feel like Izzo is almost an equivalent to a he's like the Walmart Coach K. Like, not
I like
necessarily, but
that.
like, it's
I may
not bad. It's
I'd bump
like,
them up to like Costco or
oh
Sam's, a
yeah,
little bit better
like,
than Walmart. All
yeah,
right.
definitely better than Walmart. I'm sorry, that was a little disrespectful, but I was trying to figure out the analogy quickly.
I see where
That's
you're
the
going.
first
That
thing
was
that
kind of
popped in
funny
my
though.
head. But I feel like
He's not Publix yet, but
yeah, exactly. But he has the opportunity to be
if he wins
Publix.
another
Oh
championship,
yeah, dude.
oh my God.
Coach K is an old style coach, I feel, but he's also very adaptive and
Hmm.
very game
I would.
aware. His basketball IQ and
He's
like
like
being able to
Saban.
guide. Oh my gosh.
He's like Saban. He's old school, but
It's
he's been able to adapt with the new way, right? With the new
yeah,
style of play and the new players. No, I think you're 100% correct.
yeah. Dude. I okay. We haven't even broken down the bracket. We just kind of went on a tangent there.
Well, he did go on a
But
tangent, but it's fine.
you know, Michigan State, how do you feel about their chances right now as the
Um,
bracket sits?
So I would say I like it because looking at their region, they're a 7 going against a 3, and they got a 9 versus a 4. So I think Tennessee takes that out of FAU. But here's the thing: I'm high on Kansas State. Kansas State looks good. Kansas State looks tough. So here's the thing: if they beat Kansas State, I think they have a really good shot.
Okay.
I
Okay.
wouldn't say it's out of the realm if they beat Kansas State because they just beat a very good Marquette team.
Mm-hmm.
All right. and they handled business against Vermont. Or not against Vermont. They beat a good USC team. Sorry, Marquette handled business against Vermont, but they beat a good Marquette team. So they had a tough game against USC. Beat a good Marquette. If they beat Kansas State, Kansas State's looking good. I like them. I don't like just watching them play. Maybe that's just the style I like, but they looked good. That was a good game against Kentucky. It did come down till late in the game. But if they beat Kansas State, then I have a lot more confidence in them. I think
Yeah,
if they win their Sweet 16, then I would say, you know what, I'll put my eggs in their basket about getting to the Final Four.
yeah. I think that's like nail on the coffin right there. Do you think Michigan State is the best within that bracket, or do you think Kansas State, Tennessee, FAU? Do
Oh
you
my
think one of them
God.
have a better shot, or do you think it's pretty even? I like honestly, in my opinion, I think like FAU, Tennessee. I think that's going to be kind of Tennessee's game, and then
Yeah,
Tennessee's going
I
to
think
play Kansas
FAU's
State
below
or
them.
Michigan State.
Yeah, FAU's below them. I mean, let's be realistic here. FAU beat FDU by 8. And I
Yeah.
understand that FDU beat Purdue, and we can talk about that in a little bit, but the reality is FAU should have beat FDU. Like
Hmm.
there's no question about it. They should have won that game. Um, and I think if they matched up against Purdue, Purdue would have smoked them. Um, so FAU's there because we had an amazing upset with a 16
Hmm.
seed. I think Tennessee is far better than them. If they prove me wrong, I mean, all for it. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
But I would say it's tough for me to say by rankings. I want to say Kansas State has the upper hand over Tennessee and Michigan State, but honestly, based on I mean, Tennessee played a good Duke team and beat them by
Hmm.
13. And
Yeah.
then you have Kansas State in a battle with Kentucky and Michigan State in a battle with Marquette. So I would say right now, my personal belief is they're all pretty even. And I would love to see a round robin of these three teams. They can just all
Honestly,
play each other. Like, okay, we're gonna play each other. If there's a 2-0 team at the end of this, you guys move on. Like at this point, I would love to see that because I think those three teams are really good right now. They're all hot. Like they're
yeah.
all hot right now. They're peaking at the right point. Um, I'm excited to watch. I'm excited to watch.
I definitely think, yeah, the three are good. I think Tennessee might lack a little bit when it comes
Okay.
to at least an offense. I mean, they're putting up good numbers against good teams, but like I don't
They
know
almost lost to
if
Louisiana though. I
yeah,
mean, they only beat them by 3. I don't know, dude. This is crazy.
like
I don't know
it's a
anymore.
crazy
I
year. I don't like
throw
it's
out the numbers. Just throw out the seedings at this
yeah,
point. Just
honestly, the
play.
seedings don't matter. It's a matter of like what team is this? Is this like
Right. This is the game that the points don't matter, or the points are
yeah,
made up, or whatever.
yeah, it's
Depending on
all
whose
fake.
line is it
It's all
anyway.
fake.
Oh man.
Uh
Um. That, so I think we're in agreement though. Those three teams, we could see any of them coming out.
yeah.
It'll be good. That bracket though is the one that's getting talked about the most because of the big upset. So before we move to any
Hmm.
other bracket, what are your thoughts on Purdue?
I think they relied too much on the big man. I
On
think
Edie? Too much on
yeah,
Edie?
I don't think I think they're a good team for, you know, during the season.
Hmm.
However, I don't think they're a good postseason team just because
That's fair. That's fair.
outside of the big man, they aren't really, doing anything crazy. They don't have like oh, dude, this guy's leading in threes, this guy's leading in steals. Like you don't get a lot of like crazy stats coming out like that.
Okay.
Purdue, yes, good team. I just don't think I think they were kind of put on a pedestal of being good because they won the Big Ten. But as we kind of were talking earlier, Big Ten's not all that great.
Yeah. So I agree with you. I think what happened was they did rely on Edie way too much. They expected, oh, we have a taller team than them.
Hmm.
We're just going to give them the ball inside. And what happened was, we talked about Purdue wins in the Big Ten because other teams play like them. And when you have a 7-4 guy and you're both trying to play the same way, typically height wins.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it. Um, so I think what happened is they played a team that refused to play like them.
Yeah, and they
They
weren't
played a
able to
team that
like
refused to play
change
like them.
and adapt
Yeah.
to, that new
But
style
what I
that
would point
they're not
out,
used to.
yeah, the reason why this upset is so amazing is because FDU is not supposed to be in the tournament anyway. They
Yeah.
came in second in their conference tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And then that team that won it was ineligible because they moved from D2 to
Cinderella
D1.
story.
So
Cinderella story.
that like they weren't even supposed to be there and they took advantage of it. They won their playing game and then they
But
upset
then
big dog Purdue.
and then rode the wave and then crashed pretty hard.
Yeah.
Not
So,
crazy hard. No.
but
Game
yeah,
of
I
eight,
mean,
but
what I would also like to point out about Purdue, all right. Um, again, I did not think they were going to lose this game, but I saw this, I looked it up, I'm confirming this. So this year, they're a 1 seed, right? They get knocked out by a 16. Again, amazing upset. Last year, they lost to a 15 seed in the third round. So the Sweet 16, they lost to St. Peter's. And then the year before, they were a 4 seed and lost to a 13 seed in North Texas. So I think it is time for us to never pick Purdue again.
yeah.
I is it safe to say
Yeah.
that is my
With that
humble
kind of track
opinion?
record, I don't think we could
I'm
you could
done with
really
them. I'm
make
done with the
something out and be
Boilermakers.
like, hey, Purdue's gonna make it out. Try again.
Uh, yeah, I
Not working out.
mm,
Like, I think Purdue's a good midseason team when they're playing Big Ten
but
schools, but once
like
it
you said,
comes to
they
yeah,
postseason.
no,
Postseason's not
they
good.
don't
Yeah,
have
you've already pointed that out.
they don't got Izzo. If Izzo was at Purdue, watch out for
They
Purdue.
don't have Izzo. They got Painter instead. They don't have
Yeah,
Izzo.
just get a Hall of Fame coach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And so I mean, that was the big one, right? That was the big domino
Yeah,
to fall. But then shortly after that, in the second round, so going to another division, Kansas got knocked out. Right. In
yeah.
case you missed it, that's the other 1 seed that's not going to be in the Sweet 16. Arkansas beat Kansas.
Arkansas.
Yeah,
I watched this
Arkansas.
game and
This hey,
bro.
remember Arkansas
Oh,
beat Kansas in a bowl game this year and like triple overtime. So they're just continuing their dominance over Kansas. I think Kansas is now it's Arkansas, so it's Kansas now.
Kansas. Yeah,
Arkansas, Kansas,
Kansas.
Kansas now Kansas. Okay, Arkansas has,
Kansas.
or maybe instead of Texas being West Arkansas, Kansas is West Arkansas. I don't know anymore.
I forget. There's so many renditions of it. It's like, which way? Who won last?
Oh man.
Oh God.
But hey, amazing game. And it sets up an intriguing matchup of Arkansas UConn
Yeah.
in that region.
I really was not expecting Arkansas to come out and play like they have been. I don't
Yeah.
know. I want to go on a whim and say it
Okay.
might be a fluke.
You
I
got the
don't know.
Huskies.
Yeah, I'm going Huskies in this one.
All right.
I don't know if they can keep the upset rolling. An 8 seed over a 4 seed. But like, what's it matter with the seeds?
I really though,
I
like
mean,
just throw them out at
Princeton.
this point.
We haven't even gone there.
We
Princeton,
have we have not
bro,
got the Princeton
bro.
yet. We have not got
Um,
the Princeton yet.
so with like UConn coming
It's a
in,
New Jersey thing,
UConn
man.
has pretty much blown out everyone they played.
Yeah, and you know what? This is St. Mary's. I know is a 5, but I feel like this Arkansas team is seasoned, so it's gonna be this is more of your test. They just took down Kansas and they beat a good Illinois team by 10. So
Yeah,
it will be interesting. I'm definitely gonna want to watch that game. I probably won't because I'll probably forget about it. But I really find the UCLA Gonzaga game intriguing because if we look at the other games, they
let's
just
go,
both
Bruins.
well for I mean
Let's
rooting
go.
for that. I'm rooting for the Bruins.
But like,
But
I wouldn't
what's
be surprised if it's Gonzaga's year. They've been
no,
sleeping,
don't say
dude.
that.
Okay,
Don't
we've
say
talked
that.
about it
No,
before.
no, no, I will
Gonzaga,
no,
dude.
no.
Gonzaga's a sleeper. They're a sleeper. All right,
Know how
they've
I
been
feel about
down
Gonzaga.
for the
I'm not
past
no
like 3 years. All right, it's time for Gonzaga to make a run, make it
time
to
for
at least
Gonzaga
the
to get out
Final
of my
Four.
life.
But I also want UCLA to win because go
See,
Bruins,
because
baby.
here's the thing though, if Gonzaga like again like what I just said with Michigan State and Kansas State, like how they have to go through each other and then go through Tennessee, you got Gonzaga, UCLA, whoever wins, it's gotta go through a good UConn team and a tough
Yeah.
Arkansas team. So I mean it'll be intriguing. I just find it interesting because they're both coming off emotional wins.
Hmm.
Thankfully for both of them, they have a week to prepare, right? So they can reset. It's no big deal. It's not like you have a day off after emotional win and then go. But I mean, Northwestern pushed UCLA to the brink, and TCU almost had the Zags. So it's interesting. I mean, I'm pulling for UCLA. I'm pulling for Cronum. But again, like I think these two regions without their one seeds are so wide open. It's
Hmm.
fantastic. I love
It
it.
it kind of opens the eye of saying, "Hey,
Why not?
who cares
Why
about
not
one
us?
seeds? Your seed
Yeah.
doesn't matter." And I we've kind of been seeing that within the past couple of years, as far as oh, who was it last year? St. Mary's made their run,
No,
or
St. Peter's.
St. Peter's made their run last year. Um, Out of nowhere, everyone was
Yeah.
like, "Who is this? What school is this again?" And what, they made it to the Sweet 16 or
Um,
32.
no, they made it to the Sweet 16. I want to say
They might have
Saint.
actually
I
made it
should.
to the Elite Eight.
I think they did. Um, I think they did make it to the
No, they
Elite Eight.
didn't. I
They
think they
did.
lost. I think they lost. Let me
St.
comp-
Peter's run. No, they made 15 seed. They were the first 15 seed ever to make it to the Elite Eight because they beat Purdue. They beat Purdue in the Sweet 16.
All comes down to
Yeah,
Purdue, doesn't it?
yeah, it really does. Um, so no, like it is interesting. And going from one New Jersey 15 seed to another one, Princeton. How you feel? Can they
uh,
do it? Can they repeat for St. Peter's? Can they do it? Okay. You think
yeah, I think so.
you think they can? Oh
Yeah,
my
I
God.
think so. Because okay, so if you look at the bracket here,
Beating Creighton.
they got Creighton. I think that they can beat Creighton. They're hot right now. I think they're gonna make the St. Peter run, but a little sweeter.
A New
They're
Jersey thing. Let's
I
go.
would like to see Princeton beat Alabama for
See, but that ain't gonna happen.
um
Dude,
that
Alabama
is gonna.
smoked. Alabama has smoked Like, hey, I'll admit it. I picked Virginia to upset Alabama because
Yeah,
I thought maybe their defense would stop them. I don't want Alabama in there for various reasons. Okay, that's just my personal opinion. I I don't like Alabama, but also the controversy around the team with an individual who supplied a gun for a horrendous crime that was committed and took somebody's life. I don't morally agree with him being able to play, but hey, I'm not the judge. I'm not the lawyers. I'm not the law. That's just, but because of all that, I want Alabama to lose as much as possible. But I don't, I don't think Princeton can do it. It'd be amazing. They take down
I
a
think it'd be
two and a
sweet.
one. Like
I
that'd
think
be
it'd be so
awesome.
sweet. And then Princeton's gonna be on a high horse and then, make it to the Final Four and
So lose to
fall on their
Izzo.
face. Yeah.
No, I mean
Izzo,
it's a great
UCLA,
story. It's
final game, baby. Let's see it
uh
happen. But it'll
it's a
probably be
great
Alabama.
story.
Uh,
Yeah,
you
I
know.
mean I'll be tuning into the Creighton Princeton game because I want to see what happens. Obviously, I'll be
Yeah.
rooting for Princeton. I want that underdog. But hey, don't sleep on San Diego State. I think San Diego State's
I
a
think
good
San
team.
Diego can upset.
I
Hopefully.
think they can. I really do. I think they play a similar style. They're more of a veteran team. I remember, doing a little bit of background on them when Ohio State played them in the non-conference schedule, and all they kept talking about was San Diego State doesn't get rattled. They're a veteran team. And so I definitely have this game circled. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a San Diego State Creighton Elite Eight. So definitely keep your eyes on that region. Yeah.
Mm,
Sorry, I don't think your
okay.
Alabama Princeton's gonna happen.
Damn. Damn.
I know.
Almost had him.
But to the other region, because
This one,
we completely glossed over it. Okay, in that region with Alabama, that's where Arizona and Virginia both got upset.
yeah. So I don't know about you, but the Virginia one hurt the most
I'm
just
more
because it
shocked by
was
that.
kind of, yeah. It was more
I
of
don't know,
a
like I'm
toss
shocked by
and hey, we
Arizona,
hit it,
but
dude. We hit it. But then they got blown
uh,
out next game
like I'm shocked by the
by almost
Arizona
20.
one.
So
Yeah, yeah, by San Diego State,
yeah,
right?
San Diego State,
Um,
baby. Do it to
so
Alabama.
like what's interesting is like I'm shocked by both because Virginia and Arizona are just two of the teams that you associate with greatness,
Yeah.
right? Like you just associate with them. Um, but in addition, like okay, Princeton beat Arizona by 4, and we didn't expect that to happen. But then Princeton followed that up with a 15-point beatdown of Missouri.
Hmm.
So like it's kind of
I
like
think
was
I see. I
Princeton
think they're
supposed to be a
legit.
13 seed? Like
I don't think they were. I think that they could have probably been at least like a probably top. I'd say five. I think they could have nestled into a five, right
you
under
think they're a
Virginia
5
there.
seed?
Okay, but I think they're better than Creighton.
Okay, I
But I
mean,
mean, I'm
hey, we'll
going
see what
specifically
happens.
off that bracket, and
Yeah,
you
not
know,
not the season as a whole.
yeah, and
I find it
that's
interesting.
probably
I think
way
it'll be
off.
a good game.
I definitely don't think they'll be a 15 seed though. You know,
Okay, so you know what? It'll be interesting. Um, obviously, you touched on
Texas, hook 'em
Virginia. I
horns,
think
baby.
Virginia.
Hook 'em horns,
What?
baby.
We're
Hook
not
'em
there yet.
horns.
They almost had them. Penn State almost had them. Nittany
Yeah,
Lions almost caught the
yeah,
Longhorns.
yeah.
But yeah, so the Alabama region had a couple big upsets, and that was in the first day, and everyone lost their mind. But finally to the region that doesn't have all the upsets, the one that was more tame, other than Pitt holding Iowa State to 41 points. Looking at this, I don't think there was any other upset. Oh, okay, Penn State a 10 over a 7. Okay,
Let's go horns.
yes, okay, yes, Texas, take it away, Texas.
I mean, Texas. They're gonna lose to
Watch out for
Xavier.
right. Xavier's hot, dude. See, but here I
Xavier
keep
looks so
hearing it.
good.
I keep hearing. I told you at the beginning, right? In the bracket that I submitted, I believe 3 of my 4 Final Four are out, and the one that I submitted in the tournament. And my lovely fiance keeps reminding me that she chose Tennessee and Texas in the national championship. No idea why, but Tennessee and Texas, and guess who are still alive?
Tennessee and Texas.
I know.
Watch. Tennessee and Texas championship game, baby.
Orange Bowl Part Two. But no, I mean, hey, I think Penn State gave Texas a run for their money. I don't think people were serious, like took Penn State serious, and they effed A&M up. Like they're like,
Yeah,
hey, like
they kind of
we're gonna
walked
show
over
you,
A&M and said, "Hey, give
yeah.
us your lunch money." Okay.
So
Now go
I
give
mean,
us more lunch
yeah. So like, I mean, hey, Penn State, I think they fought to the end. Texas just is better. Xavier handled Pitt. I think they lucked out with having to face Pitt rather than Iowa State, just because Iowa State is unique. Um, and then Houston's there. I would like to note Miami beat the crap out of Indiana. And
money.
what's
Hmm.
interesting is in back-to-back days, Miami men's basketball team and Miami women's basketball team both eliminated Indiana from the tournaments. They both played
Yeah.
Indiana and eliminated them. So I think that's hilarious. So with that being said, I don't like one seeds. Let's go. Let's go.
Oh boy.
Right?
Oh boy. Yeah. Honestly though, out of that bracket there,
Come on.
as much as I think
Of course I'm rooting
Xavier,
for Xavier. I'm rooting
yeah,
for
Xavier's gonna
Xavier.
win there. I don't think Houston has what it takes. I mean, yeah, they kind of beat the snot out of Auburn, but
But I think if they face
Auburn,
up against Texas though, I think Texas might have an
yeah,
advantage. So
yeah.
I don't know
I don't know.
anymore.
Let's go. One of the teams in there. Uh, whichever
Yeah,
wins,
if you
preferably.
had to pick, okay, if you had to pick your final four based on after the first week, all right, who you got final four? Let's hear it.
So, as much as I was riding Princeton, I'm going Alabama. I'm sorry.
All right, roll tide.
Roll Tide.
We say it so depressing.
Man.
All the Bama fans are like, roll tide. And we're
Roll
like, yeah,
Tide, baby.
roll tide. I said, roll
Roll
tide.
Tide.
Oh man. Okay, so
Um,
Bama
and
out
then I
of
got
the
Michigan State coming in from the East
Izzo,
bracket.
love it. Love it.
I'm loving the I almost said Nittany Lions. I don't know why I'm thinking Penn State right now. Let's go
Oh,
Spartans. Go Big Green. Um, and
it's go
then
green, go white, but all right.
go green, go white, whatever it is. Shows how much I'm a fan.
We
Love you
are
guys.
Sparta. Oh, don't tell them that. You hate them. It's fine.
It's fine.
Their little
It's
brother.
fine. And then I think coming out of the West, I gotta go. As much as I want to say Gonzaga because me
No,
and
you don't.
Gonzaga,
That is not the
I'm not gonna
team you
go
were looking
Gonzaga.
for.
I'm gonna take UCLA in that. If not
Let's go.
UCLA, I'm thinking Arkansas. I think they might
Boo.
have a chance. Go Big
I
Suey.
guess I'm just anti SEC right now. You know what's
When
crazy?
when aren't when aren't we anti SEC though? Honestly, because like football rolls around and it's
Um,
like we hate the SEC, and then like
um,
preseason is like we
I
still
I
hate the AC
appreciate
or during season basketball I hate the SEC. Get into the
I
postseason.
appreciate them for
I don't
baseball
mind
and
the SEC.
softball.
Yeah,
I appreciate them for a couple of sports. So that who you got in the Houston one? So you're telling me Bama, um,
Michigan
Michigan
State used to
State,
UCLA,
Akla.
UCLA.
And then are you going Texas still?
Yeah, I think I have to go Texas. I
Okay.
think they're the only other team able to come in and at, probably upset Houston. Um, Granted, I think Miami of Florida could, but if they do, I think Texas has a better chance to win out there. But
Okay.
Xavier's gonna probably give them a run for their money, and
I
if they
like I like
do,
the Musketeers.
they look good. They look
I
good,
I
and
like them.
yeah, I'd have to say going into the championship though,
Yeah, Sparty and the Bruins.
yeah,
Ah! Big Ten, baby.
future Big Ten. Let's see it. And then I got UCLA still coming out on top.
All right.
Sorry, Izzo. You know, yeah, sorry.
All right. So because my bracket was completely busted, we're gonna take a new
Oh,
a,
okay.
a
The
a
hits
new
are
a new
going.
take on this.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah, we
get a
gotta get
wild
ready.
one here,
We
boys.
gotta get ready.
Strap in.
You know what I don't like is that we could end up with a Bama, Texas, Arkansas, and Tennessee Final Four.
I
That's what I
noticed
don't like.
that.
All right. That's what I don't like. Um,
Very
listen,
possible. And the
I'd be
odds are kind
impressed.
of in a
I
favor a
I
little
I
bit.
know. They
To get
they
all
kind of are.
four would be tough. I think you
It would
could
be
definitely
tough,
see two
but
or three, though.
I know that's what scares me. So with that being said, I'm telling you right now, I'm not gonna go there. Okay.
What?
Um,
What?
I believe the Aztecs of San Diego State are gonna pull it off. All right.
Oh,
Yep,
okay.
I'm pulling for the Aztecs of San Diego State, and I'll probably be wrong. for the first game. But San Diego State makes it out of there. I really like the Wildcats. What team Wildcats? Okay, so the Purple Wildcats of Kansas State. So we got San Diego
Oh
State, we
my
got
God,
Kansas
what
State.
the fuck?
Let's go. I would love to see Michigan State though. Okay. Well, not love.
Yeah,
I would like to see Michigan
yeah.
State. I don't
Big
love
Ten,
them.
baby. Big
All
Ten.
right. And then I'm gonna go with let's go UCLA. Bruins are gonna roll. But I also would note I'm high on UConn. So I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised, but I think UCLA. And then let's go Xavier, represent Ohio.
Okay.
Let's pull it
Okay.
off. So we
Okay.
got we got San Diego State versus Kansas State and Xavier versus UCLA. No one seeds are in the Final Four. I
Okay.
don't know if that's the first time
Who's going
ever
to
or
the
what.
championship though? Who you got? Who you
Um,
got?
Kansas State, UCLA.
Ooh. Okay. Who's coming
Kansas
out?
State, UCLA all day,
Yeah.
dude. I
Okay.
think it's time for the Bruins to retake what was theirs. All right, they're
Okay.
gonna be back
Okay.
on top. Um, Honestly though, like I can see any of these teams winning it, other than
Yeah.
like Princeton and FAU. Like other than Princeton and
Yeah.
FAU, I think anybody could win it. I think this is gonna be some fun games to watch.
Yeah, I think this year we're with the NIL and everything coming into play, we're getting a very level playing field to where
Hmm.
you can't really go off of like statistics for like t- necessarily pre like see like normal season,
Yeah.
and you can't really go off of, hey, here's what we're ranked amongst other teams based on so and so's opinion
Hmm.
or whatever. um it's I mean, dude, just look at all the we got a 15 seed in here. We have
Yeah.
how many one seeds?
Another 15
Like,
seed in here, right? Like,
dude, dude. It's a year of upsets. We're looking at two one seats, a two seat, a 5 seat, a 3 seat, another 2 seat, a 5 seat, 9 seat, 4 seat, 3 seat, 7 seat, 3 seat, 2 seat.
yeah, like it's gonna be a good one. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Like, and an eight
I
seat, bro.
Yeah, like
And they all
I'm
have the
excited to see what
chance.
happens.
They
They
all,
really do. So, maybe we'll both be wrong and Alabama and Houston roll
yeah.
through and it's Alabama versus Houston.
Who knows?
But
Who
still
knows?
that should be a good game. I'll watch that game.
Oh yeah.
Have it on because it'll be a good one. So that is the madness of March. Okay. As you guys can see, we're not experts. We told you guys that last time. All right. Um, I am no longer trusting Purdue ever again.
Yep.
Okay, I don't
Nope.
care how many Big Ten
Nope.
titles they get.
Nope.
But other than basketball, what I want to touch on, I don't know if you were watching, and then we can get out of here. World Baseball Classic. If you guys like baseball, that was going on. Team USA unfortunately lost to Japan in the final. But I tell you what, it was storybook ending. You got all the big lights. It was a great game, 3-2. Japan pulls ahead of the US, and they just can't reclaim it. But how it ended. I mean, you can't make this up. Shohei Otani becomes the closer for Team Japan and strikes out his LA Angel teammate, Mike Trout,
My
the one
man.
of the best players to ever play the game, strikes him out on a 3-2 slider up by one in the bottom of the ninth. Or no, top of the ninth. I mean, you can't make it up. It was an amazing game to watch. Japan went undefeated through the tournament, so clearly they were the best team. But great tournament. The only thing I wish is more MLB players would have played for multiple teams. But in case you missed that, if you can go back and rewatch any of them, definitely do so. I also want to give a shout out to Ohio State women's hockey. They played in the national championship over the weekend. They did not win. They came up short against Wisconsin, but hey, they won it last year. Just getting back to that stage, getting back to that prestige. It's tough to repeat. Wisconsin got the better of you 1-0. Guess what? Just come back stronger next year. I
But
love what
three-peat
they're
though.
doing.
Three-peat.
I love what they're doing.
Well,
Hey,
come back and
to
win next year.
yeah,
Take a year
yeah,
off.
but
Still make it, but
but
like,
hey,
we're not
to
gonna win
get to
this
the
year.
national championship game 3 years in a sport like hockey, that would be very impressive. So shout out to them. That's great. Go Bucks. I'm excited to see what happens in the tournament. Hopefully the Lady Bucks got some excitement for us.
That's all we got. You're still here. Appreciate you guys. Peace out. See you guys next week. Tell us how bad we did in the comments below. What are
Yeah,
your
we can take
picks?
it. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how firm I am on those picks already after maybe 5 minutes. So yeah, tune in next week, guys. We'll see you.